Kenna and the Bridge of Spirits walkthrough. So we are going to be trying to clear more of those corrupted vines that are leading to that giant plant in the middle of the area. Well, it's not really in the middle, and the plant, I think, is controlling, or it's not controlling, it's holding down, it's trapping, geez, that's the word I'm looking for. It's trapping a giant mechanical bull that the woodsmith made, or maybe not mechanical, probably just wooden enchanted bull. So it's actually kind of a cool character, and I can't wait to see it again. So once we jump into this little swampy area, there's going to be a target we can hit, and it's going to make this platform move across. And if we follow it all the way to the other side here, there's going to be a chest we can pick up. And then the platform should actually go the other direction when we shoot it from over here, so that's kind of nice. And I don't think there's anything special in this chest. Oh, a rod. Okay, that's useful. That's useful. Usually it's a hat, but sometimes it's actually good for your character. And something that I'm omitting from these videos is really just the upgrades that I'm collecting every now and then. So as you defeat enemies and complete quests and stuff like that, you do get karma that you can spend on upgrades. And I'm not really showing my menu management of which upgrades I'm buying. And it's also because I am doing myself a huge disservice a lot of the time by not using them to their full advantage. And as I mentioned before, it's just that a lot of people have different playstyles. Maybe you like countering, so you'll want to get all the counter upgrades. I just don't want people to think that the upgrades I'm collecting are in a specific order for any reason, because they're really not. You could theoretically beat this game without any upgrades at all, but I think some of the more useful ones are going to be when you have are going to be the ones that give you multiple arrows, and just anything that increases your power or increases some of the combos that you can pull off. And there are quite a few counter upgrades that will make countering extremely powerful, but I am horrible at countering in this game, so I just ignore those entirely. For this little area, there's going to be a lot of moths, and really just a lot of spitting coming at us. So we have some faraway enemies that are going to be throwing some fireballs, and as I mentioned before, those guys are super weak. In fact, they are one-hit dead weak if you hit them right in their center crystal. And for me, I found if you aim slightly to the right of that crystal, it's a little bit more reliable. So we'll see if we can take that guy out in one hit. Yep. And now that we're here, we're going to want to use our rot to pick up that cylinder that's right here, that left one, and then we're going to move it kind of in front of this platform. And once that is complete, we're going to pick up the rot again, and we want to get it pretty close. Then we're going to make them pick up this barrel, or whatever the heck it is, and we're going to want that to go maybe here. And this is so we can jump up on top of it, and then we're going to move with the rot. So don't get rid of them yet. You're just going to ride along as they move you over to the beam over here. So we'll jump up onto this, and now we can jump down. Okay, so I don't think there's a boss here. There might be, though. If there is, we're going to have to deal with some fights first. And the first plant on the right side is going to open up pretty quick, and you'll want to take those out as soon as possible because they do tend to spawn enemies pretty relentlessly. And then we're going to worry about some of the ranged enemies just because I don't want to have to worry about getting hit by fireballs like that guy. I don't think I knew he was there, though. And this whole time we'll want to keep in mind that a giant sword tree is trying to kill us too, so we'll just make sure we stay away from him as much as possible. And the cool thing about the arrows is that they do whittle down the health of enemies over time, so be sure to be just constantly hitting enemies, and don't really give up on shooting them just because it whittles it down a little bit. Over time, that adds up. And we do have a boss, the Vine Knight, so I think I got stuck here for a little while just because it's a bit tedious having to clear out a bunch of enemies before we're allowed to hit this guy. And he's got some crystals that we can go for straight away, but if we send the rot onto him right away like I did, then he's just going to be swinging his shield around, and it kind of just made me wonder what the heck the point of distracting them with the rot is, because you can't really do any real damage to a lot of these bosses while they're being swarmed. They just hit you anyway. But it does give us access to a lot of those crystals that he had on him, and now he's only got one left. So I'm going to try to hit that because it does do quite a bit of damage, and this guy is really just not super deadly if you stay far away from him. That being said, I still need to get my health back up, but he's got a vine that will, he'll kind of charge back and try to swing at you. It'll start glowing before he does any attack with it, and you can stun a lot of what he does with the Spirit Bomb. So don't be afraid to spam those at the guy as much as you want, and if you see him sort of winding back like he was there, then you'll want to wait a second and then move out of the way so the vines don't hit you. And once we get more rot on him, I tried to do a little bit more damage to this guy with my staff, but like I said, he's just kind of swinging around and not really letting me do a whole lot to him. That one I am shocked that I dodged, so that made me pretty happy. We might be able to blow up his shield with some heavy attacks. I'm not actually certain. I didn't try that very much just because I was having better luck using the Spirit Bomb. And if you notice when I'm throwing it, it's kind of going around his torso. That's what's going to do a little bit more damage. But I'm going to whittle this guy away. And finally, he'll be dead with just a few more hits. One more Spirit Bomb, and there we go.
This is where we built our ox. He started as a simple concept, a way for us to work the fields and improve our crops. But he became so much more. It's no surprise the dearest spirit has latched onto him.
Alright, that was Corrupted Vine number 2, keeping the plant down, so we're just going to work toward a number 3, and I think we get to the third one in this video. So we'll be able to free that bull and continue on with the area. If we jump up here on top of this barn, or inside the upper part of the barn I guess, we can find yet another rot, and he can join our party. We're 2 away from leveling up our rot level, but that's not really going to play too big of a part because the way this game is set up, you don't really get enough rot to level up until the game wants you to level up. That being said, though, you can be a lot higher level if you explore every single area and try to collect every rot that you come across, but I don't really think it's going to make a huge difference in your overall power. I think for the most part, people who do and don't collect rot are going to be able to complete the game all the same. And there was a corrupted statue that we could free with some of the spirit tier rot that we could get back with the vine boss fight, but in that vine boss fight area, that's where the spirit tier is what I was trying to say. But I don't really care about those because they just give you currency to buy hats, and I've mentioned that before. So the last vine is going to be sort of in this area to my right, but it looks like I'm going to be heading over there. No, what am I doing? It looks like I'm just trying to take a look at what I'm trying to decide here. Okay, so we're going to head over to this area, and if we jump up here, there's going to be some strange puzzles we're going to have to do. Let's see if we can get up on the rocks. There we go. And we're going to notice a bunch of these glowing rocks, but they're all trapped underneath the rot vines, all the corruption. So we can't do anything here yet, because we do need to be here to free the last vine, but we can't do it yet. We need a spirit tier, I believe, and we're going to find that down here. So we're going to jump over this chasm, not really much of a chasm, and there's going to be some more enemies, and we're going to recognize this guy, so there's going to be, is that a moth on the right side? But anyway, this was, I think, one of the first boss fights that we fought. And as I mentioned, we're going to see him again, and this is actually the only time I can remember that we see him, so we might only run into him twice, but he's got the same moves. He's going to jump in and out of the pools and throw enemies at you, and you're going to want to try to run up to him. And you don't want to run to him too quickly, just because he will immediately go down into the ground if you get to him too soon. And luckily this time we have a bow, so we'll still be able to damage him from far away if he goes away too quick. But I'm going to try to get into the rhythm again of catching up to the guy and hitting him with my spear. I think I was just experimenting with that spirit bomb that I threw on him. It didn't really do anything. I ended up taking damage for some reason. And then I think I may have just kind of resigned to shooting the guy with my bow and arrow. But I think here we go. We're going to do some more damage to him with the staff. And it's just kind of sad that this time he spawns 2 enemies instead of 1. And it is good that he spawns enemies, because that means the rot will regenerate. Right there was an option for me to use rot on him, and then I'm going to run over and try to deal as much damage as I can. I'm going to use that big rot slam, or whatever it might be called. And then I'm going to be really close to dying, but I should be okay. He's super close to dying too. I think just a couple more arrows will take him out. And yep, there we go. So that was a little bit nicer once I finally got the rot on him. And then I'll be able to kill this guy. Hopefully I don't die to him. That was all I was thinking, was how embarrassing would it be to defeat the big boy and then you have to die to the little peasant enemy. And then there's going to be a barrel over here. Not a barrel, my goodness, a bucket. I don't know why I had a hard time remembering the word bucket. There's going to be a bucket that will have the spirit tier that we need. And sometimes the rot controls are a little strange. Like, I used the rot on the tier and I had to do it twice for them to actually pick it up. So we'll just get it to drag it over to that plant and then it'll grow. And now the camera will pan out and show us where we're supposed to take that spirit tier. So we'll just send the rot into it, and now we'll start dealing with the terrible controls yet again. And I have to turn around here. It looks like I'm just gonna destroy some of that corruption that's around here, but right here, that is me moving my mouse. You see how slow that movement was? That is me slowly moving my mouse halfway across my dang desk, just so I can turn it or just so I can move it in short distances. Like, it's horrible. And straight ahead is a little bit easier, but trying to move this thing in wide turns just never gets easier, and I hope they make that better. Maybe they have already. There's been a few updates since I've started this walkthrough, so maybe they have made it easier. I'm not sure. But anyway, once we make it into here, there's going to be another piece of spirit tier. It's going to be another spirit tier that we can unveil. And we're going to have to move those rocks out of the way so we can destroy the corruption around the other rocks. And that corruption's permanent, it looks like, so we're just going to ignore that. And now we should be able to get to the top and actually free the final vine from that plant, which has been our whole goal this whole time. So I'm just going to wait for that one to blow up. And we're going to need to shoot the crystal on that rock to orient it correctly. And then once this one blows up, looks like we don't need that one over there at all, actually. Once this one blows up, we'll ignore the first set of rocks, and then we'll come over here and grapple onto the plants. That's what I meant. And then we can throw the rot onto the vine and explode it. So there we go. We have cleansed the land. We're going to head on back to that plant and watch the cutscenes that follow.
Can you move that for me?
You're okay. I can't believe it. What are you doing, big guy? Easy there, old friend. I'm happy to see you too. She's here to help Adira. He may look rough, but deep down, he's a sweetheart. Time has turned most of our work to dust, but Rufus here is still chugging along. Let's go find another relic.